So now that we have discussed the pros and cons of working with a sales recruiting agency to help you land a sales gig, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of trying to find and land a quality sales opportunity on your own. So there are pros, there are cons here, and we're going to dive into those. So the pros are, so when you try to find a sales opportunity on your own, um, you're not relying on a sales recruiter's timeline. Again, you're taking full control of your sales journey, which is what I would suggest. I believe in self-sufficiency 100%. As well, you're going to have the ability to find and land a sales opportunity that pays you what you want, what you are worth, right? Because when you are relying on a sales recruiter, no, it's about fulfillment. So sometimes you don't have that option. But if you are trying to, if you're doing it on your own and you're taking control of your journey, yes, you can definitely find an opportunity that pays you what you want. You can find an opportunity that is something that is fulfilling to you, and it's something that you 100% believe in. You have the ability to find a sales opportunity that is flexible around your schedule. Right? So a lot of you guys might be going to school, you might have a part-time job, full-time job. When you are basically self-sufficient and you have the capacity to do it on your own, yes, now we can, definitely find more positions that are flexible towards our needs and our desires and what it is that we're looking for based on our circumstances, right? As far as a sales recruiter, if they're only offering you one sales opportunity, let's just say one every month, one every 2-3 weeks, whatever that looks like, if it doesn't fit your schedule, then you're screwed. Now you're ultimately waiting to play, you're waiting for the sales recruiter to reach back out in another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever that looks like. So, and then the next pro is your ability to find a sales opportunity that is a great cultural fit. I know this is super important for a lot of you, where it needs to be congruent and needs to be in alignment with who we are and who we want to serve. So those are the pros about finding, basically taking control of your own sales journey. Now, here are the cons. This goes back to your sales training. Most of you guys, again, have not been taught the proper skill sets. You have not been properly taught how to network, right? So, most of you guys aren't going to know how to properly brand and market yourself, right? Position yourself in the marketplace. Most of you guys are not going to know how to properly search for these sales opportunities outside of joining Facebook groups and networking, right? Most of you guys are not going to know how to effectively communicate to go from the comments to the DMs to the interview. That's a skill set, right? And then most of you guys are not going to know how to effectively niche down based on your experience, right? Because I always say, start with what you know, start with where you're at, which is your experience. So if you have preferred work experience that is directly correlated to the high ticket sales space, leverage that, right? But most people don't know how to niche down. Most people think, that, okay, so this is what I really like to do, or this is something that I find very fascinating and I would like to get into this space. That's okay to a certain extent, but if you still don't have experience in that niche market or in that space, it's still going to be tough to position yourself within that niche market, because now that's going to require you to go do some homework, get very familiar and acclimated with those niche markets that you are wanting to pursue, because it's a passion of yours, right? That's something that you would, deem as super fulfilling to you, right? But if you don't have that experience or that skill set, you're still starting from scratch. So knowing how to niche down. Another con is not knowing how to properly vet and qualify sales opportunities. And this is a big one. This one's huge because you guys graduated, you guys are doing your outreach. Right now, you got people hitting you up, you're connecting with people, I hope, right? But now it's asking the right questions so that you can properly vet and qualify each and every sales opportunity. That way you're not spending or wasting 30, 60, 90 days without getting paid. That way you're not, you don't fall into the crypto stuff where, hey, they say you've got to invest, right? And now you're paying money. You should never have to pay money for a sales opportunity. There should never be an investment, even for the software, even for the systems. Like, that should never happen. And so when you know which questions to ask and properly vet and qualify, you should be able to also figure out your on-target earnings by asking the right questions. That's done through something what we call doing your pipeline math, right? Asking very, specific KPI questions about their business so we can figure out how many calls, how many sets, a little bit more about their business, what that looks like. Hey, warm lead generation, cold, lead gen, whatever that looks like. But most importantly, we should be able to figure out how much money, as far as on-target earnings, we can actually make on the offer. And we can do that by asking very specific questions. So if you have the capacity to properly vet and qualify, you're going to avoid scams, you're going to avoid multi-level marketing, you're going to avoid life insurance, and you're going to avoid the startup companies, which will save you a lot of time, headache, energy, like all of the above, right? Because ideally we want to land a quality sales role where we can start making money within the first 30 to 60 days. And then another con is most sales trainings have not taught you how to, once you've vetted the opportunities and qualified the opportunities, they don't really teach you how to show up on the interview. They don't teach you how to prepare for the interview. They don't show you how to close the interview. They don't show you how to follow up after the interview. So this is a skill set. These are all skill sets, guys. And so these are the cons of you basically making a one-time investment where your sales training doesn't teach you any of this stuff, and trying to figure it out on your own. This is a huge con. And so, yes, you made the one-time investment, but again, that one-time investment isn't going to get you to $10,000. That one-time investment typically isn't going to get you immediately into that closing role. And it definitely does not break down a lot of the stuff that I just kind of shared with you, that which are their cons. So that's why I'm saying be open-minded here as far as the skill sets that are actually needed and required to actually make the transition into the high-ticket sales space.